And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I don't know that we got anybody here yet, but hopefully they'll start loading in soon. But how are you, JB and Morgana?
I am gearing up to start cooking some yummy yummies for tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hanging in here, doing all right.
Just hanging in, doing all right.
Yep.
What kind of yummies are you fixing tonight for the game?
We are making chicken wings, like buffalo wings. I'm going to make some homemade queso, some homemade tortilla chips, salsa, 7-layer dip, fruit salad, all kinds of good stuff. Snacky
We'll be
stuff.
there.
What's
We'll
the
be there soon.
7-layer dip?
7-layer dip. It is the one that's got like beans, pico, sour cream, guacamole, shredded cheese, things like that in it.
Okay.
Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
It does sound good. Hey, ma'am.
He's back.
She
I
be
don't know.
back.
I don't know why it's not letting me connect to the comments.
Oh, I don't know.
It won't let me
Don't
make
know
a comment
either.
from my phone.
Weird. You might have to wait till Steph comes in if she makes it and see what.
Well, I can see JB's comments.
Mm-hmm.
And it says join the chat. So I joined the chat, and then it says connect your YouTube. So I connect the YouTube, and then it just says join the chat and connect the YouTube, and join the chat and connect the YouTube. I don't understand.
Weird.
That is quite weird.
Okay,
So,
I'm going to share this screen here.
Okay.
Oh, there's Nightbot.
There's Nightbot.
Hi, Nightbot.
Hi, Henny.
Hey, Henny.
How are you today, Henny? Nightbot's already like, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning.
Right.
Alert.
Oh, Autobot roll out. All right. So I wanted to pop in today and discuss this Delphi thing. We'd kind of talked about it, I think, on Friday that we might do a pop up about some random stuff. And there was some stuff that happened with Delphi that we didn't get to talk about this past week because we've been, covered up with the Adam Montgomery trial and everything. So, but for those of you that are interested in Delphi, hey Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
I wanted to share this and discuss it amongst you guys. But there was this article here that I ran across, and the headline says Delphi defense claims destruction of evidence wants charges dismissed. So this is Richard Allen. He's the dude that's in a maximum security prison before his trial has even started for the murders of Abby Williams and Liberty German in Delphi, Indiana. So this was dated, let's see, February the 7th. So what, 4 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Indianapolis. It says attorneys for Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen have filed a motion that criminal charges against him be dismissed. Allen, 51 of Delphi, was arrested on October 28th of 2022 for the February 2017 murders of 13-year-old Abigail Abby Williams and 14-year-old Liberty Libby German near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. The motion filed Wednesday. Oops, didn't mean to do that. The motion filed Wednesday claims someone destroyed exculpatory evidence in the case against Allen for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Exculpatory evidence is a legal term referencing evidence that the defense believes could help prove Allen was not the killer. So that's kind of a big deal, right? When you're trying to defend someone.
That's a huge deal.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, it's not just some little bitty, thing.
Yeah.
No, and they
Um,
were also saying that they're saying that they materialized it in, like transcripts, but not everything was transferred over. So there's stuff that's legit missing.
yeah.
Yep.
Hey, only being Chris. How are you, girl? How are you?
Hey, Chris.
I hope you're
And
doing
Sherry.
well.
I think it's Chris.
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 Yes.
um, According to court documents obtained by News 8, the defense argues that videotaped interviews with two possible suspects were deleted by police in February 2017, and it is unknown what other interviews were deleted during the relevant time frames. The destruction of material interviews of key suspects early in the investigation demonstrates negligence, if not intentional conduct on the part of the state. How could law enforcement, while investigating the most serious of crimes, record over interviews of material suspects with recklessness or intentionality? The defense asks in its filings, which I have the file. We're going to look at that here in just a minute. I-Team 8 spoke with Indiana University Moore School of Law professor Jody Madeira about the deletion of the taped interviews. If the allegations in the motion are proven to be true, how serious of an issue is that? Asked I-Team 8 reporter Cody Fisher. That is something that never should happen. According to Madeira, Allen's attorneys would likely still have to prove that the taped interviews of the two men actually contained evidence proving Allen's innocence. In August of 2023, law enforcement re-interviewed one of the people the defense has identified as a suspect in the case. During that interview, the person told police, "I barely even knew that girl. I met her once." The defense said that is contradictory to what the person told police in the deleted interview with that person in 2017. Therefore, one material and highly relevant contradiction exists. It is therefore plausible that many more contradictions would be available to the defense, but for the state's intentional or negligent failure to preserve all of the evidence, read the motion to dismiss. The defense has also discovered prepared search warrant applications for cell phone data for the two people the defense names in the motion. The applications state the people are a known member of a religious sect and elements of the murder have potential religious significance. The information being requested is relevant to an ongoing criminal investigation. The defense said these warrants were never served for the phones. Never served.
Let's see.
Definitely.
These suspicious facts further call into question the circumstances surrounding the destruction of key videotaped statements and support Richard Allen's motion to dismiss all charges filed by the state of Indiana. Madeira said it's not uncommon for law enforcement to create warrant applications that are never used. They often work ahead in a sense, and warrants might not be filed just because they're prepared. That just generally means that the police decide to go down an alternate path, right? I get that. But this is not
I
one.
think that's almost enough to actually just completely throw out the whole case.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's fair what he's saying there if that was the only thing.
Right.
But with everything else,
Here it says no hearing has been set on the motion and prosecutors have not filed a formal response. Attorneys in the case are under a gag order and prevented from publicly speaking on the case outside of court proceedings. Allen is due in court next week in Fort Wayne. His trial is currently set for October. So the February 12th, it was supposed to be set for tomorrow, but that has been moved to March 18th,
March, yeah.
I
Yep.
think.
Yeah, March.
But here is the document. I'm glad you're hanging in there, Chris. We need to chat soon, girl. I miss you. Miss you. This, let me go back up to because I was skimming through it. I haven't read all of this. I kind of like to, like when there are documents, normally I would have already read it by now, but I was like, I want to wait and read it with you guys. So, but this motion to dismiss was filed on February the 7th, which was what, Thursday or Friday?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the motion to dismiss, it says for destroying exculpatory evidence. But we're going to read through this and we'll stop every little bit and just kind of like discuss it amongst ourselves. But it says, comes now the accused Richard Allen by and through his attorneys and pursuant to these amendments and Constitution articles and sections and all the codes and things, moves this
Yeah.
court to dismiss charges against the accused for destroying exculpatory evidence in violation of the standards set out in Brady versus Maryland. In support of said motion, the accused states the following. Richard Allen stands accused of murdering 2 victims on or about February 13th. Since receiving discovery on this case, the defense has unearthed significant evidence that third parties named Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were involved in the murders. That evidence is critical to the theory of defense. I mean, I don't know how much you guys have read about these 2 folks, Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall. But in that big, massive memorandum that came out
Mm-hmm.
quite a while back,
Yep.
Right.
they were huge key players in this. Brad Holder's son was actually in a relationship with one of the girls, Abby.
Right.
Mhm.
So, anyway, and we haven't done any deep diving into that motion or that memorandum here, have we, on the channel?
No.
I don't think so.
think I have. I mean, I've looked at it and read it multiple times, but there's a lot of hardcore evidence that was brought to light. A lot of things that were brought to light, and the defense's theory,
Mm-hmm.
and Richard Allen's actual defense was brought to light, and a lot of it was proven factual. I mean, it's not like it was just a made up story, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
Number 3 says the defense would incorporate into this motion the contents of a Frank's memorandum, which is what we were just talking about, that was filed with the court on September 18th, 2023, which provides the details of the evidence that supports Brad Holder's and Patrick Westfall's involvements in the murders. And there were several other people mentioned in that memorandum,
Mm-hmm.
but one of them is since deceased. And there's a few others that I don't know if they're going to mention in here or not, but the Patrick Westfall and the Brad Holder are the interviews that has been apparently recorded over or deleted or something.
Right.
But number 4 says in discovery, the defense found a document dated February the 17th, 2017, that appears to be an FBI report memorializing an interview of Brad Holder. Contained within the document are these words. The below is an interview summary. It is not intended to be a verbatim account and does not memorialize all statements made during the interview. Communications by the parties in the interview room were electronically recorded. The recording captures the actual words spoken. emphasis added. So that's, now they're going to look for this. They have the interview summary here, but and they see that there was actual recording that captured the actual word spoken, and now they can't find that recording.
Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Also in discovery, the defense found a document dated February the 19th, 2017 that appears to memorialize an interview of Patrick Westfall. The report itself does not indicate whether the interview was recorded, although the defense would expect that standard procedure would require video or audio recordings of all statements. After locating this document, the defense sought a copy of the recording detailed in the February the 17th report so that the defense could listen to the exact spoken words of Brad Holder during his interview. That is vital to Allen's defense, particularly the statements that the author of the document admits were not memorialized in the document, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying, this document is not verbatim. It
Right.
is just a
Summary.
summary of what was recorded. And, where did QB go?
She's been out.
She's been.
I'm here.
There she
I'm
is.
here.
There you
I'm
are.
here.
There you are.
Hey, Tammy. And Sherry, they have a court date set in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, barbecue has not figured it out. That's why I keep dropping in and out.
Yeah, Tammy, you're correct on that one. The judge did reject. She's not going to step down.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I was going through and looking at the chat. What goodies is Steph talking about?
The ones that I'm
Maybe
making.
Oh, gotcha.
she went back and listened.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. All right. Now, let me go back here. Number 7 here says also the defense requested a copy of all audio/video of Patrick Westfall's interview that was memorialized in a February the 19th, 2017 report. On September 8th, 2023, the prosecutor communicated in a letter that there were no audio or video interviews of Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall available. Prosecutor McClelland offered no explanation as to why these didn't exist. Well, I mean, he's just kind of going to let that just slide right on by under the radar, hopefully.
Yeah, trying. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Number 9 says, before the defense had an opportunity to investigate the reason why these material pieces of evidence were not available, Prosecutor McClelland called for the disqualification of attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin as Richard Allen's lawyers. Judge Gull, without a great deal of hesitation, said she was leaning towards granting McClelland's request. Ultimately, Judge Gull caused Rozzi and Baldwin to be taken off the case. This occurred before Baldwin and Rozzi learned of why crucial videotaped interviews were missing. So, they throw them off the case because of the leaked photos and stuff that was basically stolen from their offices, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's been contempt charges filed on the defense by the prosecution for those actions and all that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So now the prosecution has got stuff deleted, dirty deleters. Are they dirty deleters?
Right.
Absolutely. Come on.
It just happened to be the ones that were involved too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Nope.
Plus, I mean, you know, they went after them for those leaked quote unquote photos. The dude had them on his own desk in
Right.
his own office.
Right.
The other dude stole them, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like, yeah.
So I don't understand. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of like the pot calling the kettle black here.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
That's why when the state said they were going to take it all the way up the chain, I'm like, take it all the way up.
right?
I mean,
They
not
should.
the state, the
Federal.
defense.
Federal.
Yeah, take it to federal. Take it all the way, because this is crap, and somebody needs to look at the fact that this judge, the way the judge is behaving, the way that the prosecution is behaving, it's
Mm-hmm.
just and the way that they're treating Richard Allen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Like,
what really sucks is that here he's sitting,
yeah,
waiting for a trial, and these two parties can't get their ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right.
And
I
so
mean,
what
don't get
they
me
were
wrong. I know the defense is doing what they can try to do, but they have to combat all these things that are being tossed at them by the prosecution,
Yep.
and it's just kind of a tit for tat, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Just
watching
delaying it and delaying it too.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching they were going over everything, and they were saying that there's some possible evidence that the reason why he's looked so unresponsive and stuff when he goes is because they're messing with his meds.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're giving him meds and then not giving him meds and giving him meds and then not giving him meds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that can majorly mess with you.
Oh yeah.
Extremely bad.
Yeah.
Which is like also too, I don't know if y'all seen that one document where they were trying to figure out what kind of medications and injections the man was getting.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
getting
They don't even
medications and injections, and they have no idea what it was.
They have no idea what he's getting.
Well, he said in that document specifically, he said there's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes it's a different color pill, it's a different number of pill. Different pills, different days. He's like, you don't even know what he's taking.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which that can change. I mean, I do understand that, you can get pills. They can get pills from one company and they're going to look different than another, even though they're the same pill. But still, if you're not positive.
But they should clarify for him what he's taking.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't give people stuff that if they ask me what it is, I have to be able to tell them.
Right. Right. They should have to tell him. Yes, for sure.
Okay, on here number 10, it says on January 31st of 2024, which was just a couple weeks, not even 2 weeks ago. After being reinstated to the case, the prosecution turned over discovery to the defense, including a letter cataloging the evidence that the prosecutor was turning over to the defense. So basically, just here's a list of the things that you're getting. Mm-hmm. Contained on page 5, paragraph 5 of the itemization of discovery are these words that explained Brad Holder's missing videotaped interview and Patrick Westfall's missing interview, if one existed, because they don't actually have, there was nothing that said, like in Brad Holder's thing that said attached is the recorded video, audio, whatever,
Right.
But this is what it says. Due to a DVR program error discovered on 9/20/2017, all recordings up to February 20th, 2017 were recorded over. Well, do you know whose interview was on February the 19th? Patrick Westfall's.
Right.
And 2 days before that was Brad Holder's.
My thing is, why are we just hearing about this now?
Right.
Right.
They knew in September.
Everything up to February the 20th has now been recorded over. There is no detectable audio found on this drive. Remember, Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were interviewed during this very short window, February the 14th. Oh, okay, February the 14th. Through February the 20th, within days of the murders. The videotaped interviews were deleted by the police. It is unknown what other interviews were deleted during the relevant time frames. The destruction of material interviews of key suspects early in the investigation demonstrate negligence, if not intentional conduct on the part of the state. How could law enforcement, while investigating the most serious of crimes, record over interviews of material suspects with recklessness or intentionality?
Mm-mm.
I think that's a really valid point because we all know it probably was intentional, but they're like, maybe it was a mistake. Still
Mhm.
negligent.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's the same kind
why
of. I mean,
wasn't
they
it
were saying.
protected?
I don't know.
There should have been like proper procedures and protocols to
Yep.
do in that kind of event, especially with that kind of a pertaining evidence. Any kind of questioning on that stuff. There just should be certain protocols.
Well, it shouldn't have been left on the original DVR. That's for dang sure.
No joke.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, shouldn't there have been like backups and backups and back? You
That's
know what I'm saying?
Like you
She would
don't.
have thought.
You're investigating a capital murder, 2 capital murders. You just leave it on the original DVR? Come on.
Yeah,
Right.
No.
And if they did just leave it on the original DVR, then yeah, it's negligent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Either way, mm-mm.
I'm sorry, but I've yet to see a court proceeding or anything like that where they go to show you an interview and it's not on a zip file
Yep.
or a flash drive,
A thumb drive. Yep.
something.
Something. It ain't on.
And
They don't bring the DVR in.
Exactly. They ain't bringing in a whole dang box and going, okay, hold on, let me hook these wires up. No.
I bet they didn't delete where he admitted that he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I bet they have the recording of him speaking that one sentence to his wife where he says he actually did it.
Yeah. Oh, that was kept. They had that one.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't they probably got 2,800 copies of that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Under lock and key too.
Yep.
I'm sure.
Sherry, because it's sussy. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why you got that feeling, because it's sussy. This whole thing is sussy.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And
right?
I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying, thus far, it's sussy.
Well, and he's still innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
But when they start
but he's in
deleting
prison.
stuff, or then things get, oh, wait a minute, it was taped over. That's a little suspect, of course.
But also, too, you got to look at this. It is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, correct? That is how it's supposed to be. This man is being treated like he is guilty and have to prove himself being innocent.
Yep.
Exactly.
So much so that he's in a prison that doesn't even have visitation quarters for attorneys.
Right.
Because they don't do that. Because people don't go to prison and have confidential meetings with their I mean, like,
and if he is innocent, just remember, any of us could be in that position.
Exactly. Can you imagine a lawsuit after that? Good Lord, if that man is innocent, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, if he's innocent, he's going to have a heck of a lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
And I don't blame him one bit.
Mm-mm.
Not even a little bit. I mean, it's a wonder that this man even makes it out of that place alive at this point. But
that's one of the things. One of the ones that I was watching. I don't know. I think it was this morning. Before it was late enough to absorb it. Steph. They were saying that y'all are trying to break him, and y'all have not broken him.
Right.
Oop, she fell off. Come back, QB.
Oh, she.
Oh, there she is.
Baby, come
I'm
back.
sorry.
You can blame it all on me.
What I was saying was one of the things I was watching this morning was saying that, all the stuff that they've done has been meant to break him,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't broken him. And so if they actually like stop drugging him and stop allegedly drugging him and stop not, giving him his rights, they're going to be in for it, because this man is not going down without, he's fighting.
Oh,
Mhm.
you can tell he's fighting.
Have you all seen the interview of the lawyer that he had in between the lawyers he has now?
Yeah, I
Did
have.
you see the interview with him? And
Yep.
he to me looked freaked out.
Yeah, he was extremely cautious about the words he was speaking
Yep.
and what he actually told.
Right. And then what he was saying about the Odinism stuff, he kind of looked really freaked out.
Yeah.
The one
know
he
what
did
you
with
mean.
Court they showed on Court TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think somebody had asked if he was scared, and someone had, I think it was a reporter. I can't remember the girl's name. She had like long hair, and the newscaster dude was like, he looks afraid. Was he afraid? And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, well, I don't know that he was necessarily afraid, just more trying to really be cautious with the words he's using. Now, granted, he could be afraid. I mean, he said, he was behind, him and another lawyer were going somewhere and literally saw a vehicle in front of him with an Odin license plate.
No, it's the
Like,
Jeep with the tire cover that
yeah,
had
yeah.
the symbol on it. And he said, I wouldn't have known what in the world that was if it wasn't for this case.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because he
And
thought in the
so-
beginning it was all hooky, like, oh, that's not. And then he started getting into it and found out, no, that's really something, that's real.
Hey, Bubbles Crafty Corner. How are you, dear? How are you? Did anybody else pop in that I didn't catch? I agree, Tammy. Tammy said, I just feel bad for the families. I do too. I mean, that
Like everybody
those
does.
girls' families just are beside themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Henny says, very fishy. I agree. I don't know that I think she's in it, but I do feel like she's probably there's something. I don't
Personally,
know.
I think there's ties. There is ties. There's ties. There's ties. There's got to be ties somewhere. She may not be in it, but she is tied to something or somebody or something.
Yeah. I think I feel like that's possible. I mean, I don't know. I can't see her going to these big shindigs they have or what, you know what I mean? But otherwise, I think it would be already out there. Like, there would already be proof of that, right?
So if she's not in the cult,
Mm-mm.
okay, which I'm not saying she is or isn't, I feel like it may be more of a power thing.
Right.
Like, she doesn't like her authority being questioned, so she's like, bump all of y'all, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna deny everything, and I'm in charge, and y'all can't have it. So
that's kind of how I feel too. But I mean, what I don't know, what, she don't have a long distant relative that she's super close with, that's, when I say long distance, I mean like second, third, fourth cousins or twice removed or whatever, but she knows them personally. And I don't know. I mean, that's all pure speculation, right?
Well, there's only a couple of these correctional officers that are advertising they're in this cult. Like, it's not like everybody's walking around with, tattoos on their face and Thor hammers. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't know who's in it. Really.
Mm-hmm. Bubbles Crafty Corner says, you can always tell when someone is hiding something is by their body language, because that can say a lot. It can.
True.
It can. let's get back over here to this. Number 12, it says, as a material part of his defense, Richard Allen is expected to direct the attention toward Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall as being involved in the murders of these two young victims. The evidence will also show that Richard Allen does not know Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall, and therefore that Richard Allen had nothing to do with the murders. This destroyed videotaped interview of Holder and Westfall, if it ever existed for Patrick Westfall, was expected to contain evidence that could provide exculpatory and material evidence in support of Richard Allen's defense. Was expected to. Sorry, I read that weird. If a recording of Westfall was never secured, that too is a purposeful or negligent failure to preserve material and exculpatory evidence. Experienced defense lawyers fully understand the significance of comparing and contrasting the accuracy and credibility of one's video and audio taped statement with that information which is represented by law enforcement officers in police reports or summaries. It is through this process that Richard Allen would have been able to challenge the veracity of the statements of Holder and Westfall. However, the state's intentional or negligent destruction of the original recordings deprived the accused of such an opportunity. The state's actions have deprived the defense of the ability to compare Brad Holder's words from February the 17th, only 3 days after the victims were murdered, to the evidence that was unearthed over the next several weeks, months, and years. This would have allowed Richard Allen to determine whether Holder's story was consistent with unknown evidence at the time of Holder's first statement, and whether it's consistent or inconsistent with future testimony, be that trial testimony or deposition testimony or statements made to other persons, witnesses. And that brings me to thinking of the because I believe it was Brad Holder that said when he was recorded in 2020 or interviewed in 2023 that he said, I barely knew that girl. I only saw her once or met her once or something. And then also it kind of makes me think about, his voice 3 days after the murder on video compared to his voice today, which has been 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 years next week or in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 6 years difference in voice. People's voices can change in 6 years. I mean, they're going to have the same mannerisms in the way they talk, but their actual voice itself could be a little bit hoarser, raspier.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he had COVID. Maybe he's a smoker. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right,
It
right.
definitely could be different. Hey, Margaret.
And so it just makes me think, they've got this recording that they've played. Everyone has heard it over and over and over about girls down the hill or guys down. I don't know if he says girls or guys down the hill or something like that. But, I don't know. Number 15 says, in any criminal investigation, the interviews of potential witnesses must be preserved, such as the precise words of Holder and Westfall in their 2017 interviews, because as additional information is developed, reviewing prior statements may reveal inconsistencies or raise questions about other witnesses or other information relevant to an unbiased investigation. Without the actual audio and video that would provide the exact words spoken from Brad Holder's mouth, the accused, Richard Allen, will never, ever be able to know exactly how many inconsistencies existed in the original statements of Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall when compared to the evidence that was later discovered or future testimony of Holder and Westfall, nor can Richard Allen challenge the credibility in light of subsequently discovered evidence. Furthermore, Allen is deprived of the ability to confront either suspect with their own words, contradicting any self-serving testimony they may offer throughout the investigation or prosecution. On August 30th, 2023, following depositions in which the state of Indiana and law enforcement learned that the defense believed Brad Holder to be an actor in the murders, law enforcement finally re-interviewed Holder for what is believed to be the first time since 2017. While in 2017, according to the memorialized report, Brad Holder told law enforcement that he never met Abby Williams, who was purportedly dating his son. His story changed in 2023 when he talked to law enforcement. In 2023, Holder told the interviewer at the 3909 mark, "I barely even knew that girl. I met her once." When previously he said he'd never met her.
Yeah.
Therefore, one material and highly relevant contradiction exists. It is therefore plausible that many more contradictions would be available to the defense, but for the state's intentional or negligent failure to preserve all of the evidence. Such negligent and intentional conduct on the part of the police has also resulted in the absence of material evidence which could be exculpatory in nature. This circumstance in and of itself violates Richard Allen's due process rights. We must, however, place such a conduct in a greater and more noteworthy context. Oh my gosh. So, you think from saying, like, what do you guys think? If he's saying in the first interview, 3 days after the girls are found or have been murdered, and he says, "I've never met the girl."
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, in another interview, you say, "I barely knew the girl. I only met her one time."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now
Is
you
that
should know
not
that,
a huge deal?
Sounds like it to me.
Mm-hmm. Going from,
If
I
anything,
understand. Go ahead.
sorry, if anything, he would have said at the beginning, "Oh, I only met her once," and then said, "Oh, well, I never met her." I mean, if you're going to say it, it's backwards. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I exactly was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very fishy on that whole thing. And you don't know what now they've lost. Like they said, who knows?
Yep.
Never going to know.
No, and that's what's super frustrating is, like, I don't know if they mentioned in that summary document that he said that he uncovered when they first got this discovery stuff about, like, how long that interview was. The first one that was deleted from Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall. Because apparently in the second interview at the 39 mark, that interview was at least 39 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
Yep.
Where did QB go?
She dropped off again.
Yep. She had to drop. She had to be right. She'd be right back.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry.
No worries.
M called.
No worries. No worries. I was
Gotta
just
make
wondering
sure
what
she's
your
good.
thoughts were on that.
On which, I'm sorry. So repeat the question, please, ma'am. Sorry.
What do you think about, I don't know if you caught it or not. You may have been busy, but when we were talking about the in Brad Holder's first interview, he literally says he's never met the girl. And then in the second interview, 5 years later, he says, "I barely knew the girl. I only met her once."
Met her once. Yeah. Yeah. Only met her once when he was telling her to go down the hill. Sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So my thing is, that's, that's a huge contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like saying, oh, it'd be one thing if the first interview he's like, oh, I've seen her a few times. And then in the second interview, he's like, oh, yeah, I saw her a couple of times. That would be very similar, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Saying you don't know or you've never met the girl, and then saying 5 years later, I barely knew the girl. I met her once.
Right.
Right.
Because he knows that's probably going to come out in court. I mean, he's going to be brought into court and asked that probably.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
maybe other people that knows. I mean, if his son was dating her or like boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever, then his son could be brought in. And if he says, well, my dad met her, I mean, then there's going to be a problem there with their statements.
Yep.
Mhm.
So he's thinking, oh, I maybe better say, well, I met her once.
Either that or he doesn't remember what he told them 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that could be true too.
And there's no record. So, I mean, there's no audio at least.
Yeah.
Do they have that in a written statement or was it an audio statement about the I never met her?
That was in the very first interview that was deleted, but he had a summary of it.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. So thank God at least that little bit was summarized, was in the summary, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Number 21. We got just a couple more pages left, guys. It says number 21. It's also been discovered that former Rushville police officer Todd Click reached out to prosecutor McClelland in an attempt to bring to his attention the existence of an 85-page report summarizing the investigation that revolved around Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, and other affiliates. This letter, which landed on Prosecutor McClelland's desk via certified mail on May 1st, 2023, was not discovered to the defense until more than 4 months later, on September 8th, 2023. And only after the defense disclosed in depositions that they were aware of the Odinists' ties to the crime scene and investigation. Can we unpack that for a minute? I need to understand what they're saying here.
Read it again.
It's been discovered that former Rushville police officer Todd Click reached out to prosecutor McClelland in an attempt to bring to his attention the existence of an 85-page report summarizing the investigation that involved around Holder, Westfall, and others. This letter, which landed on McClelland's desk on May 1, 2023, was not discovered to the defense until more than 4 months later, in September of 2023.
Sounds
And
like they withheld information.
It says, and only after the defense disclosed in depositions that they were aware of the Odinist ties to crime scene and investigation. So are they trying to say that they would have not provided that had they not already said, oh, we've heard about this Odinist stuff? And they're
That's
like,
what
okay,
they're
well, now that
suggesting,
you've
I
heard
think.
about the Odinist stuff, we'll go ahead and hand this 85-page report over to you.
I think
Sounds like it.
that's what they're suggesting, yes.
Yeah, I believe that's what they were saying.
And regardless, either way, they didn't follow discovery rules for sure.
Mm-mm.
So basically, if the
He might have
defense
just not been
hadn't
doing it.
if the defense hadn't said anything about the Odinist, then they would have just held on to that.
Possibly.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
what
very good
they're saying,
possibility.
maybe. Yeah.
This prosecutor's office is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very wonky. I don't. Yeah.
Here
And
it
it
says
seems
this-
like, oops, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I want your
Well, that thing that I
input.
sent you this morning about when they had that meeting about the money, So it seems like there's actually a lot of distinction between the prosecutor's office and the board that releases the money and the other departments. Because they were like, why do you need more money?
Mm-hmm.
We're all making it work without more people. We're all, we're staying late. We're working overtime. We're doing all these things. And then a couple people that were on the board were like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really saying that if we don't provide you with additional staff that you can't prosecute this case properly? And we'll basically saying we'll be responsible if there's a mistrial? Because that's basically what they said.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I don't know, there seems to be, but the clerk of court stood up and was like, we literally get 14 to 15 emails a day from news agencies that are requesting documents that we have to stop everything that we're doing and we have to address.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor was like, well, we get those too. And she's like, but we have to stop and actually provide the information.
Yeah.
We don't have any additional people. We don't have any additional money. And the really bad part is that they got the money to pay this person who was supposedly, had experience, and turns out the person did not have experience.
Right.
Yeah, no,
But
she didn't have
then-
any experience, and she was filing paperwork and all kinds of crap for him.
Yep. And then the admin that they also put in the position was like, well, wait a minute. She got extra $5,000. Why can't I have an extra $5,000?
Right.
So then they
Mhm.
wanted another $5,000. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going off the rails because I know not everybody has seen that, but I was like, dang, y'all.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of made my head explode a little bit today.
I
whenever
know, I'm
was trying to
sorry.
read
It was too early.
No, it was fine. It was fine. It was just sometimes it just takes me a while to fully grasp what was going
I had
on.
to read the description like 3 times and go back. Yeah, because I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Wait a minute, what is this again?
Reread.
This here says this failure to disclose. Let me start back here again. And only after the defense disclosed in depositions that they were aware of the odinous ties to the crime scene and investigation. This failure to disclose on the part of the prosecutor, if not entirely intentional, rises to the level of an untimely failure of disclosure of potentially exculpatory evidence. The failure to disclose sheds further suspicion on the absence of the Holder and Westfall interviews referenced herein.
Facts.
22 says, furthermore, as explained in the Franks memo, it appears as if law enforcement and possibly the prosecutor himself attempted to conceal the identity, I forgot about this, of a Purdue professor who contradicts the sworn words of Trooper Jerry Holman and Sheriff Tony Liggett concerning whether the crime scene contained signs of the involvements of an Odinist cult. I forgot about that. So the prosecution said that there was a Purdue professor who said that it didn't look like any sort of any kind of Odinist cult things. Well, then when they were asked, who is this Purdue professor?
Mm-hmm.
The prosecution was like, oh, I don't know. I can't remember who he is. I don't remember who that was. He doesn't work at Purdue anymore. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So that was a whole thing, right? Number 23 says, in more recent discovery, defense also located a prepared search warrant application to AT&T for data contained on Holder's and Patrick Westfall's mobile devices. Each application states that Holder and Westfall is a known member of a religious sect and elements of the murder have potential religious significance. The information being requested is relevant to an ongoing criminal investigation. There's no evidence that the warrant was ever served. Also, the defense has not located any discovery regarding any data contained on Holder's and Westfall's 2017 phones or any other electronic devices. It defies logic that law enforcement would conduct forensic examinations of so many other phones in its investigation, yet ignore the phones of Holder and Westfall, who were viewed as suspects within 3 days of the murders and interviewed by law enforcement, who then prepared search warrants for those phones. So they interview them, prepare search warrants for their phones, and then never serve the search warrants for their phones. These suspicious facts further call into question the circumstances surrounding the destruction of key videotape statements of Holder and Westfall and support Richard Allen's motion to dismiss all charges filed by the state of Indiana. 24. Defendant requests a hearing at which time he can present evidence and make arguments as to why these charges should be dismissed. 25. The defense files contemporaneously herewith his memorandum in support of this motion. Wherefore, Richard Allen, for reasons cited herein in the accompanying memorandum, moves to dismiss all charges against him and requests a hearing on this motion.
We've got a new person that popped in today, Rebecca Ann. You might want to read her comment.
How far is Kokomo from Delphi, Rebecca?
Hi, Rebecca. Oh, and hey, Lee, I didn't see you pop in. I was too busy reading. Let me go back in. Well, I know that Delphi is way up north in Indiana. And
25
Kokomo
minutes.
Goes up north too. Yeah.
Yeah, Kokomo is too.
She said 25 minutes, so wow.
Oh, I didn't know Steph was in the back. Hold on, Steph. Hi, Steph.
Hey now.
Hey,
Watch how you say that. I'm not in anybody's back side, okay?
So Rebecca Ann, hi and welcome. She says, afternoon all. First time here. Well, good to have you here. She says, I live in Kokomo and I can tell you for sure there's dirty cops in Delphi and surrounding areas.
Wow.
Good old boys club. Rebecca says, I feel you. I feel you on that.
I really feel like there are Odinists in all branches of the legal system in that area. Oh, any random old cop could have deleted that to protect their organization.
Usually when you have an organization like that, they do place people in all different levels so that they can have access to what they need to.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I watched a documentary. It's not the same, but I watched a documentary about a doctor who was doing inseminations and IVF to impregnate women, and he was lying to them and saying that he was using their spouse's sperm, but using his own sperm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I
trying
remember
to
that. Yeah.
take over that entire community and have his children in all branches and take control.
Yes,
basically.
I remember that.
And I'm sure that's what's happening here in this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very possible. I mean, you can't have that anytime you have any little small towns. I live in a small town, and it's good old boy clubs around here too, you know.
And prosecution could be like, oh yeah, we need more money so that we can not use it for this investigation, but use it for the Odinists and to cover up even more.
There's no telling.
No telling.
There's no way in hell with all of this that he'll get ever, no matter where it is, get a fair trial.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the more we talk about this, the more we get like,
Conspiracy
so
theory.
that big memorandum that they came out with all this stuff and this information, I'd really love to go over. But that would be that would take a while, and it would be a multiple day
Mhm.
thing, because there's a lot of pages and a lot of information and a lot of key players, not just the Brad Holder and the Patrick Westfall. There's more people, you know.
Right.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of other people. That's definitely something to go over when we're not doing a trial, because
Yeah.
that's like the yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would have to definitely start. That would have to be a thing. And I don't know, maybe, you know, I don't know. I know that the Lisa Snyder case is supposed to come up soon after the one that we're doing is over.
hmm
It's supposed to be starting in early March. So yeah, it'll be a little bit, but there's definitely a lot in that to unpack. A lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Richard Allen getting a trial this year. I just don't see a trial happening this year, especially now.
I mean, it's supposed to be in October, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I
The
don't
way
know.
they keep delaying everything and things keep coming like this,
Mhm.
I don't
hmm
know what's going to happen in October.
I don't know. I mean, you never know. Maybe something will happen, and I mean, we kind of have to wait and see what happens at this next hearing
This
Right.
is true.
to see what goes on. I can't remember what all they were supposed to be discussing on this next hearing. I think
Did they do a denial of transfer request already? The
yeah,
last one they did do that, didn't they? They
yeah,
said that the Adam and the Allen County, yeah, one county could, the
yeah,
other one county couldn't. They'd have to pay for it. Carroll County would have to pay for it. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. I know. It's a pain in the butt. Um,
And for all we
Rebecca
know, it
Ann,
could
I
be.
would love to hear your thought, though, if you're, feel all right to like voice your opinion here. But I mean, what is like the general consensus in the area? Is it like, does everybody for the most part feel like Richard Allen is the guy, or does a lot of people feel like it's not him? I'd love to know.
Yeah, most definitely. She's I mean, she's local to this
Mhm.
case. And she's really close. So
Hmm. But I understand if you don't want to voice your opinion here. I completely get that too.
yeah,
But
And I
it's
was
just,
gonna say, for all we know, they could be lying about him being suicidal, just as an excuse to keep him in the prison
yeah.
and make him look more guilty to the public.
Rebecca says not guilty. Vast majority of people think he's not guilty.
Hmm.
wow.
I mean, you have a lot of people who feel like he is, because he admitted to being there in the area, and he admitted apparently on the phone to his wife that he did. But if you look at it from the other side of the fence, you know, his defense team is claiming that he was basically forced into saying that he was guilty. Um,
Yeah,
I'd be curious to know what the family thinks. I know Libby's sister spoke up a lot trying to get justice for her sister, but I haven't seen anything from her since they arrested Richard Allen, so I don't know
yeah.
what they're feeling right now.
People just don't trust the police. Yeah. Tammy said this judge reminds me of the school shooting. She finished it, but she resigned, got sat down as a judge.
On the Crumley case? Tammy?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I was going to say, I haven't heard anything about the judge on the Jennifer Crumley case stepping down.
There's been way too many school shootings.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely sad.
Yeah.
Oh, Parkland. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, let me.
Yeah. I've been seeing some things of hers popping up, but I haven't really watched them. Anything from that judge, and I forget her name. Welcome back, QB.
Lord, I've been over here talking and talking and talking. Hey.
So what were you saying?
Yeah.
That we didn't hear.
Recap for us.
Now I can't remember. When they were y'all were talking about them saying he's suicidal, and I was saying it's another reason to drug him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think someone outside of the state of Idaho needs to look at this.
Indiana.
Indiana. Sorry,
You're
that's what I
mixing
meant.
up your cases again.
Ma'am, I know.
Really?
I think someone outside of Indiana needs to look at this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Because something stinks.
And you would think with how profile this case is that the police would be making sure it's doing everything by them.
You would think that.
Well, I know that they have a third attorney has signed on to his defense.
Mm-hmm.
But not
They also
just
have an
him.
investigator too.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone and their mother is trying to work for his defense because with all the stuff that the prosecution is doing, they have a solid case, and this is a good place to make your name.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that investigator, that affidavit I sent this morning about the treatment of him and everything that happened. I mean, we had already heard about that, but that affidavit is from the investigator, and she was with the two attorneys when they went to see him. And so she witnessed it. So it's not just the attorney saying, hey, we couldn't see him. We had to stay 6 feet away. We were looking at him through a little thing. He was shackled, blah, blah, blah. Now they've got an affidavit from this investigator that was there with them, confirming that, yes, this is what happened. She signed a
on
sworn
that
affidavit.
she had said that on that date she went with
Yes.
Brad, with
Yep.
Rosie and Baldwin, and
Yep. I just think it gives more credibility because now it's not just the attorney saying it. And I know she's the investigator on his case, but I mean, she's not going to put herself at risk when she doesn't have to do an affidavit. She's not required to do an affidavit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was a pretty powerful piece of evidence.
I don't know. And was it the Rosie and Baldwin that she went with, or was it the Librato and the other guy?
It was the first set that are now, no. Yeah.
I think it was the one in between, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in
between judges, yeah. Because then he got moved, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they had, that was an 8-hour trip or whatever. Or it took 10 hours all day or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, and he got removed because he was bringing up stuff about the Odinist stuff. They were like, wait a minute, we might want to go back to the original people because at least they weren't saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, they said it too, didn't they?
Yeah, but they weren't like on it like this guy was. This guy was like all over it.
Yeah.
And it seemed to even scare Richard Allen as how much they were bringing it up.
Yeah, because he would suffer for it with the guards.
Yeah. Rebecca says, I just want a fair trial and the right person or persons in jail.
Exactly.
Agree.
Yeah. I agree too.
And that's one thing we've said,
what?
Rebecca. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, if it is Richard Allen, if he is the guy that's to be charged, if it's him, then so be it. But I just don't know that they're gonna. This is not how it's supposed to go.
No.
No.
And that's what guts me. Is like, if he is just a scapegoat for them, was it Abby or Libby that recorded? I think it was Abby. Those girls did everything in their power to catch the right person, and throwing somebody under the bus to protect somebody else is doing the greatest disservice and disrespect to those two children.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
Completely
But
agree.
they were kids and they tried to protect themselves and get justice for themselves. And now the system is screwing them over.
Because the original video was caught by accident, but the audio that was in her, it was like it was in her pocket. That was not on accident. She purposefully did that.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I don't even know if the actual video was accidental. According to
I've seen stuff about the angles.
Yeah.
That she was
they were
trying to
saying that she was like super smart and the kind that would like do that to
Yeah.
be safe. And she's like, I think her family may have been like, oh, she totally did that on purpose. And
Yeah.
there may be something inside the video that we haven't heard yet where she's like, this dude looks super sus. I'm going to get a video in him just in case.
Right.
I don't think she would have said anything, but I've seen like them analyze the angle of the video, and I think they said they believe she used the front camera.
Yeah.
So that she could capture him and she could make sure that she was capturing him without him knowing and without it being blatant that she was recording.
Right.
Yeah. I just was saying that, they've said that, she wasn't trying to record him. And I'm like, okay, well, let's say we give you that. She still recorded him going down the hill.
Yeah. And supposedly the audio of what actually happened to them.
Yeah.
Captured.
Thanks for coming, Rebecca. It was good to see you and good to meet you, and would love to have you come back anytime.
Come back and see us.
Yeah.
Come back and see us sometime.
We normally have snacks.
Yeah.
Y'all come back now, you
Don't
hear?
start with the food.
Yeah. Y'all come back now, you hear? Well, you guys, it is 3:46 Eastern Standard Time, and I wanted to keep this one short and sweet. So
JB's got to go fix her food.
Yes. I gotta go be Martha Stewart here in just a second.
Yeah, find a fast plane ticket to get to wherever JB is.
I know,
Yes.
right?
We need the food.
She's going to be fixing some yummy Super Bowl Sunday game time snacks. So I'm going to go in there and see what I can get into. So I know what I'm going to be getting into. I'm going to be getting into some laundry and all that kind of stuff. Margaret, good to see you, honey. We'll be back in the morning at about 8:45 Eastern.
I do not know if I will be here tomorrow because it's Aiden's ABA day.
All righty, honey.
But I'll try to catch up in the evening so that I'll be caught up for Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be in for a little bit. I have PT at 11, I think. But I'll be in before then.
All right, sounds good.
You know where I'll be.
Oh, Tammy's making Steph's meatballs.
Yes, let me know what you think of them, Tammy.
I need one of y'all to come over here and bring me some food. Is what I need.
Me too.
Yeah, y'all need to straighten up. I'm hungry. Oh, hey, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Oh, and Carol. Hi, Carol.
Too.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Kel. Question: wasn't the guy's hands in his pocket going on the bridge?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
at least one of them. I don't know if both of them, but I know at least one was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that she captured was walking on the bridge, I believe, behind.
Mm. Yeah. Kel says I've been lurking.
Kel's
Ooh,
been
Margaret's making guacamole.
Margaret.
Ooh.
Okay, look, I'm gonna need all of y'all
talking
get
about food.
some dry ice, okay? Then I'm gonna dox myself and tell you where I'm at.
It never fails. It literally never fails that, well,
It goes
she's
to food.
left and now she's back again. Hold on.
Hey, I didn't do anything.
Mm.
I hate it here. Not here, like in the chat. I mean here, as in with my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I
Yep.
get it. But yeah, the chat always comes back to food. Always comes back to
Yeah,
food.
I have guacamole.
I don't. I have
I
salsa,
do,
but
but
I don't have any chips.
And I have cilantro lime chips. What?
I looked for those the other day at Food Lion. I didn't see them. So I'm
Nope,
gonna have to
no
make
Food
a trip to
Lion.
Walmart.
Nope, you gotta look for them at Walmart or oh, you don't have Harris Teeter, right?
No,
Yeah.
I despise Walmart.
That's why I have Walmart Plus. I get it delivered. And if you had Walmart Plus, you'd have Paramount. Just saying.
I'm broke.
I'm broke too. They dragged me in with a deal.
I just recently had a divorce, so until I get things settled, I can't be spending money. Nothing.
I feel that.
I'm with you, Steph.
I need to get people their paintings and stuff.
Oh, Henny, yeah, if you're still here, we'll see you tomorrow in the morning. But yeah, we'll be back at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time in the morning to get back to the Adam Montgomery trial. So shake it off between now and then. I've had a very good self-care weekend. So
Yes.
Cal, what's your team? Is it San Francisco or is it a different California? Cal's a football lover. She does fantasy football and everything.
Oh, I'm all over football. Y'all, I ain't even got a team in this fight, and I'll be watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
honestly
don't mind watching for the commercials. I like to watch the commercials and
the
then eat
commercials
food.
haven't been great.
Yeah. Not as good as they used to be.
There's supposed to be one. They were
90s
talking.
amazing.
They were talking about. There's supposed to be one about a girl that was overdosed on fentanyl.
Yeah, I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard
To
about
draw
that
awareness.
Yeah. That's a big problem.
Well,
I don't know
considering the
what
Chiefs are playing.
Raiders? Oh, Steelers. Okay.
Steelers, she said.
Oh, yeah, Raiders
Yeah.
are silver and black. Black and yellow,
Yeah.
black and yellow, black and yellow.
Somebody
I
was
kinda want
saying about the
Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs, and the fentanyl
Yep.
overdose
Mm-hmm.
girl. That would be, but I'm sure that I don't know if they would have gotten like family's permission. I'm sure they would have wanted to do that before they like did any sort of commercial regarding the boys.
Honestly, if I were the Chiefs, I wouldn't say anything about it unless they won and be like, we did this in honor of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that they're mentioning them in the commercial. I think they're just mentioning the girl.
Yeah, I know.
But it
I was
just,
just
it's just coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was just thinking in general something like separate from her, but about them because it's been such a big story specifically in Kansas City,
Yeah.
and for the Chiefs. But
That's kind of why I want them to win because I forgot which gentleman it was that we talked about, but his family were getting together to have watch parties in his memory. And it would be awesome to see the team win and dedicate their win to their family member.
Well, when
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the fight, I go for the one that hadn't won the most recently, so that would be the Chiefs. So
Well, I'm just there for the food and the commercials, so
you have no food. You better go get some.
I'm gonna find something. I'll find me something. I got some salsa, but no chips.
She's got popcorn left.
Yeah,
the
I think
dog-
I'm gonna
didn't the
ditch
dog
that
eat it?
because it is stale now. So
I thought Poppy ate
Put
it.
some salsa on the popcorn and eat it with a spoon. You won't even notice the staleness anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
oh,
I'll send
y'all
y'all pictures and let you know how it is over
no,
here.
no,
Lord.
please. No food
Hey,
porn today.
Not fun, not fair, JB.
right. That stinks.
There went
All right.
QB.
Okay, how wants the Chiefs to win too?
QB's like,
Oh, there she is again.
Look.
All right, I gotta hop out. I gotta start getting stuff ready.
All
I
right,
will
y'all.
see
I'm hopping
y'all
out.
tomorrow.
Because apparently my phone wants me to. Bye.
All right, guys.
Bye.
I'm gonna help out too, Jenny.
Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. For
Bye,
those
guys.
who won't be watching the Super Bowl, I highly recommend downloading the app Freevee. Freevee. Lots of e's.
Lots of e's.
It's a free app. Watch Jury Duty. It's a reality show. It's got hijinks and antics and is very lighthearted, and it'll be a welcome break from the Adam Montgomery case if you've been following along with us.
Yeah, that's true. We started it. I started it back a few weeks ago whenever Steph told me about it, and it was super good. It was super, super good.
Yeah, and the end is really good, but I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, don't ruin it because we're
No.
gonna continue the little watch party for it. So, but thanks for joining me, Steph. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out what to do for the rest of the day, and like I said, it's going to include some laundry. I got lots of laundry to get done up. So.
I have one load of laundry going, but this is usually Matt and Aiden's laundry day, so I don't really do much on Sunday. I do it during the week.
Yeah.
But I'll be bagging drills all day because I'm planning on doing scoops next Saturday.
Fun. Fun. Well, you guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. And everybody make sure to give the video a thumbs up before you leave. And if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also, if you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments down below and let me know you were here.
And say, I love you, Jenny.
Love your stuff. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you in the morning.